Alright guys, welcome back to the Taj Mahal. It's Tuesday, March 19th, just coming up to 7:45, and we came out to do a bit of a power hour tonight. Just thought we'd start with changing the oil in the little compressor, and that's not going so well. But we'll let it sit. I seem to have a bit of an airlock in there. I'm having trouble getting oil back into it. I got lots of oil out of it. Anyway, we'll get to the bottom of that shortly. If that doesn't work, we've always got our big backup here, but that shares power with my little heater. So I'd rather have my heater running at the moment versus my compressor, so we'll just do without until it gets a little bit warmer. Anyway, I think what we're going to do tonight is we're going to pull this front fender off, and we're going to fit that door back up. We still have a little bit of welding to do on that sill. We have those vertical pieces to weld, and we still have to do some grinding to finish this area and to finish the B-post that we were working on yesterday. I also want to move back to the rear valence where it meets the fender to weld up the holes that are there currently, mark out new holes for the red fenders, and re-drill those holes as well. So maybe we'll get to that tonight. Anyway, we'll fit that the door up if I've got enough strength to do it myself. We'll fit the door up tonight and see how that looks with the door fitted. A better plan. I see Les has just pulled up in his truck, so I can enlist Les's help to help me put the doors back on. So let's see if Les pops his head in here. Look who it is, boys and girls.
Chucky's back.
A blast from the past. Don't get so close.
Get in there.
Hang on. All right, guys. Wednesday, March 20th, just coming up to 12 noon. First day of spring. Back out in the garage. Unfortunately, we didn't get done much last night. As soon as Les sort of shows up in the garage, it's pretty much game over. You don't get much more work done after that. Anyway, I did manage to get him to help me to put the door on. So we're just taking a quick look at that this morning. And it's fitting up pretty good. The gaps are not bad. Needs a little bit of work, but for just a preliminary fit, it's not bad. A little wider on the bottom and the top here, but here at the back, it's just about perfect. So we'll play around a little bit, move that fender around a little bit forward probably, or back on the bottom a little bit. Anyway, we'll figure it out. So I'm pretty happy with that. It looks so much better than it did. There's no reason why I shouldn't be happy. So anyway, I think what we'll do today is we'll threaten to work on that rear valence to rear fender fitment, and I think what we're going to do is do that this morning. So we'll go ahead and we'll pull this rear fender off, and we'll have a look at the old mounting holes for the old fenders. We'll fill those up, and we will then locate and drill new holes for these new fenders. All right, here's a look at the red fender, the stock fender for this car, and you can see we've only got 3 locations to fasten the fender to the rear valence. The old fender had 4, so I've got 4 holes drilled in here. So obviously I got one too many holes there. I got to fill that up. So I think what I'll do is I'll grab the old fender and I'll see where the old fender holes were drilled and see if I can figure out where to drill the new holes. I may be able to keep one of the existing holes, at least we'll see, maybe 2, and just fill up the other couple. But grab the other fender and we'll compare it up. All right, here's the old fender on the rear versus new fender on the front. The only hole that has a chance of matching up would be this first hole, and the other holes are not even really going to be close to matching. So I think what we'll do is we'll definitely fill these bottom 3 holes to start with. We'll leave the top hole, fit the fender up, and see how we did. We'll try to figure a way out to mark these holes on the flange. Usually what I do is a piece of flexible caulking, like dum-dum sealer, and I just fit the fender up and press it. And usually the indentations for the holes leave themselves in the dum-dum. So anyway, let's do that, and we'll come back. All right, we got all the old holes filled up, and we've just left the one here at the top. Need a little bit of a repair here. It's got a little bit of a tear across here where there's some brazing, and I got a little bit of a tear down here on the edge. I don't know if you can see that or not. Anyway, we've got our strip caulking out. So what we're going to do is just lay a bead of strip caulking along here. We're going to fit the fender up, and we're going to push it in, and that should give us the locations of the holes for the fender that need to be drilled. So that's what we're going to try anyway. That's worked in the past for me, so we'll give it a shot again. And just a quick shot of the strip caulking, or it's called dum-dum, applied. So we'll fit the fender up, and that'll leave an impression. Alright, so you can see it picked up the top hole. It made a mark. Actually, I've just pushed it through. I just wanted to show you the mark for the bottom hole. You can actually see it's even got the clip mark in there where the hole needs to be. I think you can see that. It's not too dark. So we'll mark that out, and we'll drill the spot for the new hole. Alright guys, we've just got the 3 bolt hole locations all done up now. So that's great. And just checking the fit here on the rear. Now I'll be able to see this from under the car. But it's pretty darn good actually. I've got a little Bondo to clean up here. But there is a piece of beading that goes in here. So, but it's pretty good as far as meeting the rear valence. So we're considering that we replace this, it's looking pretty good. So it's coming together. Anyway, on to the next side. I think it's going to be okay. I just grabbed the piece of the old fender beading and we just stuck it in the gap. It's not attached or anything, but I think it's going to be okay. It's going to fill up the gap nicely that's left there. We still need to obviously do some body work here on the back, but I think that's going to be okay once we get that beading fitted. So yeah, that's looking good. All right, we'll move on. So the next step for me is just to go through each and every one of these fastener locations on the top flange and verify that I can get a fastener in the hole and lined up. So that's what we're doing now. So I've just got them marked out on the fender. I think there's one here that I actually don't have a hole drilled for in the body tub. So I've marked that and we're going to check that. So we'll take the fender back off and we'll play around with that a little bit, maybe enlarge the holes slightly on the flange for the fender. But other than that, I think we're in pretty good shape. So I'm still not real happy with this top body tub edge. It's a little high in places, so I'm thinking of, I mentioned this quite a while ago, I'm thinking of doing a little cut and on the side here and dropping this down and re-welding it just to bring it in more in line with the top edge of the fender. So it's a little high all the way along, but in some areas it's worse than others. Like here by far is the worst area. The rest of it is not too bad. It's a little higher than it should be, and then it evens out up here, and then it actually goes, the body tub's actually a little bit lower here. So that body tub is actually a little wavy along the top, surprisingly. Can you imagine that? Anyway, it's had so much work done on it. So anyway, we'll investigate and we'll come back. Alright guys, I want to give you a better view of what I was talking about as far as the tub is concerned, where it meets the fender. And you can see here, it's actually just about the right level, maybe a little bit low here. It's about the right level here, but as I follow it along, you can see how much it's sticking up above the body tub all the way back. Really bad here. And then it goes down to where it should be, back at the tail end of the rear fender. So like I said, I'm thinking about actually doing a slice where it needs to, and I've just got a Sharpie here and I'm going to run a line along where it needs to be dropped. So I think like I said, I might do a cut all the way along and then re-weld that to bring that tub down to meet the fender. Otherwise I'm going to have to build up the fender with a lot of Bondo. The bead's going to hide some of this in here, but I want it to be as close as possible before I finish the body work on this car. So anyway, I'll think about it a bit more. Maybe I'll run that Sharpie line across there and see what it looks like. All right, we've gone ahead and made our Sharpie line. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the cutoff wheel, or the cutting wheel, and just cut below this blue line where it needs to. I'll probably stop here, obviously where it levels off, and here, in here somewhere, I'll probably put a mark here where I need to stop where it's level. So we'll just concentrate on the high areas, and like I said, we'll do a cut and press that down and re-weld it. So that'll be the next job, more welding. I wonder how many times I've put on the fender and taken off the fender. It's got to be a couple of hundred times at least, and I'm not kidding. So it'd be a kind of a fun thing to record next restoration, maybe how many times the fenders go on and off. You'd be absolutely amazed. Well, this car is a piece of work, so it's going to be obviously more than probably any other restoration I do. But anyway, I made some marks here on what needs to happen along this flange, whether it's up or down or good. Look at that huge section of goodness I have right there. And the rest of it goes basically down, all the way down to the back here where this is good. So yeah, I've got probably a full maybe 5-6 inches of goodness along this whole flange. Anyway, we've made our mark. We've got the cutting wheel. So what we're going to do is we're going to make that cut, and like I said, we'll push it down. We'll have to fit the fender up a number of times. We'll push it down, we'll tack it, We'll come back and have a look at it and see what it looks like before we weld it up fully. So that's the plan, so we'll get to cutting. All right guys, we made the cut from all the way here, all the way to the back. Some of the gaps have closed up automatically. Obviously this was under a little bit of tension, so that's actually closed up by itself completely. And some of these are going to need a little bit of help, a little bit of clamping. It's got a little bit of structure, I think, behind here. There was a little filler piece that I think goes here, so I think that's sort of keeping that up. And there's probably a few little bit more structural pieces back here, but just a little quick clamping down, and that'll close up. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to fit the fender back and forth a number of times. Anyway, we'll do a few tacks and see how we've got it fitting. We obviously don't want to make it too wavy either, so we'll get the straight edge out, see if that helps a little bit. Anyway, that'll be the next step, is to do some tacks and some refitting. All right guys, we've got it all tacked up, so we're just going to grind the face of this down a little bit so I can get the fender to fit flush, and we'll see how we did. Well, definitely an improvement guys, but I think I can do better. So we're going to get a slightly thicker cutting wheel blade, and we're going to take a little bit bigger bite out of that, so we'll break that weld where we did the seam, and we'll just make it a little wider, and we'll push it down a little bit further. It can go down probably another 1/8 of an inch in areas, so we'll go ahead and do that after we take a break for lunch. So there's the new cutting disc. I usually use the thinner discs. I don't know if you can see the difference in the thickness between the two. And we're going to step up to the thicker cutting disc, and that'll give us a little bit more gap to push down. I may actually have to make a slice this way. If I've got too much metal, it's going to start to bow, so I might have to take a little bit of metal out as well. But we'll see how we do along the way. Anyway, we'll pull the fender off again, and we'll make that cut. All right guys, quick after lunch update. It's looking pretty good. We've actually split the work. We've actually did a bit of a cut here where there would actually be a join here in this panel anyway. So we've done a cut, and we've just tacked that, and that's looking good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to progress down to the rear of it, and we'll get that to fit as well as this part is fitting. So off with the fender again. All right guys, not sure how well you're going to be able to see this, but it's much better all the way along. So we've just got it tacked in there. So I think what we'll do now is we'll take our time, and we'll just finish off welding that fully on the inside, and then we'll probably tackle this front part where we need to just raise this front a little bit, just a tiny bit. So we'll go ahead and we'll start welding the rear section. I still have this cut to fix. I'm not sure what we're going to do here. I actually want to have kind of a visible seam here, so I've been thinking about what I want to do here. Anyway, we'll figure it out as we go along. So as the other side is cooling down from the welding, I'm just doing a few tacks here and there, making sure I don't warp it. Thought I'd come around and look at the passenger side and see how we're doing on this side. We did a lot of work up on this side of the fender, and the fender fitment here is good. It's nice and level. And the only bad spot I see is here in the middle, and between these two marks, and really where this joint is again, it's kind of fairly high up. For the most part though, this is quite level up here. Goes high here in the middle, and then back down to good back in this area. So a smaller area that needs to be repaired on this side, but a little area nonetheless. Anyway, we'll do that after we finish the other side. Actually, we'll probably concentrate on the driver's side first, and then we'll move to the passenger side and do most of the same things. Although some of the areas are better. I'm looking at the interior of the B-post, for example, and this area in here is much better than it was on the driver's side, so we probably don't have to do anything here. So that's a good thing. So there's a little less work, it looks to be, on the passenger side. All right guys, quick update. We've got that ground down now, and I think it looks much better than what it did. So I'm happy with that. The only area we need to fix now is the low area here in the front. Not much of one. Maybe from here to about here, it's got to come up a little bit. It's got a pretty good dip there. It's actually got quite a bit of filler in here. So I think what I'll do is I'll take the filler out first, obviously, and see how much we need to raise that. But we'll do the same thing. Instead of lowering it, we'll raise this section. Obviously, we got to remember that I had the Surrey top fit here, don't want to screw any of that thing up, but anyway, this has got to come up a bit to meet the fender anyway, so we're going to do that. Okay, here's what I'm trying to fix on this side. We're on the inside of the car looking out, and let me just try to get this into focus. I'm holding the camera upside down. So here's the area in here where it's sitting proud of the body tub. The fender is sitting proud of the body tub, so the body tub's actually lower in this case. So let me spin you around this way. So from this area here to this area here needs to come up. The front little area is actually good, so we'll just cut from here to here, and we'll raise this area up in the middle. Hopefully we'll be able to raise this up just probably about 1/8 of an inch or so, and we'll be happy with this side as far as the fender fitment is concerned, as far as the level is concerned. All right, we'll come back, and here's the cut up the front, and we just got a straight edge. Actually not too bad now. I'm going to put the fender up and see what it looks like. But it's much better than it was. A little low there, but for the most part it's not bad. I mean, this piece is pretty rough anyway, as you can see. Anyway, let's fit the fender up, see what it looks like. Okay, that's looking pretty good there. I want to leave a little bit of room for filler on the inside here. I do definitely need some filler on the inside here. So that'll raise the level slightly, and I think we're going to be good. So we'll take the fender off. It's got to be the 25th time I've taken the fender on and off just today alone. So we'll take the fender off again, and we'll weld up that gap. All right, just coming up to 7:30, and I think we're going to be done for today. We've got that now just tacked basically in behind there. I just fitted the fender up before I'm going to weld it solid, which means I have to take the fender off yet again. So I think we'll leave that till tomorrow. I'm tired of taking the fenders on and off. So we'll pick it up tomorrow, but I thought I'd just give you a quick look at that before I go. So all in all, again, another good day of getting this car sorted out a little closer to being done. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Thanks for watching.